Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and sorry about my voice. I'm kind of dealing with a chest cold right now, so my voice might sound a little bit weird. But today I have an action classic for you. 1997's Face Off. Now, this movie was a favorite of mine when I was a kid because I just remember the outlandish and just out there performances of John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, who at the time when this movie came out, John Woo, and you know John Woo was the legend of put slow motion and white doves on the map. Like, if you want to be real, he kind of put that on the map. Then The Matrix took that to the next level, but either way, this movie was so out there because first of all, if you gotta rewind your mind to 1997, at the time, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage were rising fucking stars. Like, Nick Cage was a force. I mean, he hadn't even done National Treasure yet. Like, he was on the come up. He was a serious actor. Like, this was a big blockbuster for him. And like I said, like, he would do other movies after this, and like both John Travolta and Nicolas Cage's careers have kind of gone similar in terms of they both had these starts to their career, like early on, where it seemed like they were gonna be like the next big thing, like next legend, and then their careers kind of went like weird after that. Like, both of them do mostly straight to DVD shit. Like, I mean, once in a blue moon, you'll see fucking, like, you know, Nick is doing better than Travolta is, I would say, but like not like that much. I mean, Nick is probably doing way better than Travolta nowadays. But you know, they were both had the same kind of career trajectory. At least that's what it looked like to me. And at this point, they were hot. They were skyrocketing. Everyone thought they were going to be, you know, the next big thing. And this movie even made people believe it even more, because Face Off is an old school cheesy badass action movie about a good guy, and with the insane premise. So the whole premise of Face Off is that there's this terrorist named, I always forget his name, Castor Troy, played by Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage this movie it's not, I can't say it's where it started, because I think he did things before this, but this movie was the signs of that out there, almost parodied, like almost like a parody of himself version of Nicolas Cage, where his performance was just so cartoonish and so outlandish and so out there that it was like, yo, like, that would kind of become what Nicolas Cage is known for, is his outlandish performances. Not that he's a good actor, but for his outlandish performances. And I personally think that really started here with Face Off, with some of the stuff he would do and the facial expressions he would make, and he was out there. He was out there in this movie, particularly when he's playing himself. And either way, this terrorist, Castor Troy, like, he's up to no good. Like, he is the most wanted man in, like, the world. He's involved with all these awful people, terrible human being, murderer. Like, he's a terrible man. He's a bad man, Castor Troy, and he's been haunted by his adversary, played by John Travolta, Sean Archer. And Sean Archer is the yin to his yang. They're on opposite sides. It's classic, you know, cops and robbers shit, sort of kind of going on with them, tit for tat. He has been hunting down Troy for a while now. They've been at each other. They know each other. Like, they're adversaries. They're true adversaries. And Troy gets got. Castor catches his ass, puts his ass in the dirt. Got him. That's the top of the movie. But unfortunately, before Troy got captured, the terrorist played by Nick Cage, before he got captured, he had already set in motion things that would end up with a terrorist attack. And they have no way, since he's dead, they can't interrogate him, they can't get the information out of him. So there's this program they had been working on, this high-tech program, which is utterly ridiculous, but still, a program they're working on to be able to remove someone's face and put it on to another person. As long as their bodies are similar in terms of height and shape, which they kind of made it seem like John Travolta and him, and like it's completely ridiculous. Like, it's asinine. Face Off, the idea behind Face Off is one of those things where you shouldn't think too hard about it, because you'll just be like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, I don't think they're the same height. I don't think they have the same, like, mass or show. I don't think they have, like, they're that fucking similar that someone would believe just because someone's walking around with his face on, even if they sounded like him, that his body looks completely different. You know, I don't believe that, but they in the movie, they're supposed to be similar built. They're supposed to be so similar that with a few slight adjustments, you would perfectly believe he is Castor Troy. So the idea is that that old FBI agent, which I keep forgetting his name. Sorry, people. That old Archer is going to put on the face of Castor Troy. Put on the face, adjust, get the voice and everything, infiltrate his life, like pretend to be him to get into his life so that he can piece together when these terrorists who are still on the move are going to attack, where they're attacking, infiltrate his life, figure all these things out so he can, like I said, figure all these things, figure out the operation, what's going on, and shut it down from the inside. Unfortunately for old Archer, turns out, apparently, the FBI or CIA or wherever they're working for have terrible fucking... They pronounced him dead. Dead. Like, multiple times throughout the beginning of the movie. Turns out, Troy ain't dead. He wakes up, his face is gone, and, oh, wouldn't you look at that? My old adversary's face is still here. The FBI agent who put me in the dirt, his face is still here. And then he puts himself through the procedure. So it's literally, throughout the course of the movie, you have John Travolta acting like Nicolas Cage's character, because Nicolas Cage's character took his face and his body, and the opposite for Nicolas Cage's character, because John Travolta's in his body. It's a weird fucking thing. But essentially, you got Nicolas Cage doing his best performance of an over-the-top John Travolta, and John Travolta doing his best... No, you have Nicolas Cage doing his best performance of an over-the-top John Travolta, and John Travolta doing his... shit. Reverse. Nicolas Cage doing a version of a calm John Travolta, and John Travolta doing a version of a over-the-top Nicolas Cage. And they both do a good job, because in the first beginning of the movie, they really established the two characters, the two Archer and John Nicolas Cage's character. They do a really good job of establishing those two and the differences they are. Like John Travolta's character, Archer, he's a family man, you know. He's a typical cop. He's a family man. He's a family man. He's an honorable man. He's a good man. He's a kind-hearted man. Sure, he's put the work before his family, but like, you know, you've seen that before in many, many movies. That demeanor. While his fucking Nick Cage's character, man, Troy is over the top. He's grabbing asses in the middle of he's grabbing asses, he's singing songs, he's dancing, he's bugging out eyes, he's bugging out, like, he's over the top. He's an anarchist. And that's what he plays his terrorist character, like he auditioned for the Joker. Like, that's the best description of Troy, Nicolas Cage's character in this. He plays that character like this is his audition for the Joker. And when Travolta has to start acting like him, like try to like match Nicolas Cage's character's performance, which I'm sure if you ask both of them, they probably both like looked at each other's like footage of like their performance as the character and went, okay, I'm gonna do something like that. Like, that's the only way you can do it. It's the only way you can do it, really. But because they both do a good job, you really believe, and like when you look through all the cheese of this movie, when you look through all the over-the-top nonsense, when you really look at the movie, these are two good actors. They really are good actors. Regardless of what happens with Nick Cage and John Travolta after this film and other movies, they are two great actors. They really are. Nick Cage can act. John Travolta can act. And through all this cheese are two actors doing an amazing job of portraying each other betraying each other. And you really do believe, at least I do, the way they act, that both of them, like, one is the other and the other is the other, you know, that they really switch places, that they really did switch bodies, and they really do have different faces. You really believe it. Like, and I think they do both a great job at that. Now, the movie, like I say, it's not the most complicated story. It's not the most over-the-top story. It has some fun action sequences. It has some interesting sequences. The prison sequence is very cool. Obviously, like I said, the prison sequence is cool. I'd probably say the prison sequence is probably the best set piece of the whole movie. Like I said, there's still some really good action sequences. One sequence at the house, at the fucking mansion that they had. There was a shootout there that was pretty cool. Like I say, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, dude. Face Off, to me, as an action movie, is a solid 8 out of 10. It's a really good action movie. If you are a fan of action, especially if you're a fan of the older genre of action movies, you're gonna have this movie is a treat. It's one of John Travolta. It's one of the best movies in the that John Travolta and fucking Nick Cage ever did. I don't even know if they were ever in another movie together, but people forget, but it was a big deal. At the time, it was a really big deal to have John Travolta and Nick Cage in a movie together. Having them two in this movie together would be like if fucking Leonardo DiCaprio and like Meryl Streep and Daniel Day-Lewis were like, hey, let's make a movie together. You'd be like, what the fuck? Why are like the fucking triumvirate of fucking Hollywood in a movie together? Like at the time, it was a big deal. Like the two hottest guys in the biz in this movie together, and it turned out great. Got a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can you believe it? Like, people love this movie, and I'm with them. I give Face Off an 8 out of 10. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Guy Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.